It's time now to start looking at some averages. We've introduced the concept so far of why statistics are both true and useless sometimes, and we've tried to peel back the layers of the onion in order to give you a chance to understand that sometimes you need more information than you've got. So, let's introduce three averages properly. You will have seen an exercise on these on the video about Swedish people and the number of legs. But now we need to make sure that we delve into the intricacies of each method to make sure that you're really confident. So, the mean is the sum of the values divided by the number of values. Now this is the one that you'll often hear referred to as the average, whether it's in a sporting context or in a different. The median is where you order the values and find the middle. The mode is the most common value. So, let's take a set of data and talk through how this works then. So here are a set of numbers. Now, first off, we're going to calculate the mean, and we're going to use a calculator here. So to find the mean, we add all the numbers up, which is 18, and then we divide it by 5, because that's how many numbers there are. Our calculator will show us 3.6. Now when you look at that figure, have a look at the data. Does it feel like a good way to describe the data? Well, it's fairly close to these two pieces of information, and then you've got some a little bit either side. So it doesn't feel like a bad description of the data. Let's have a look at the median now. So we're going to place the values in order. You can do this from highest to lowest or the other way around. And then we're going to find the middle. Now I do the middle by crossing off the ones on the ends and working my way in. So the median is 4. Now that feels like a good description of the middle of the data because actually we have got a couple of 4s in there. And this data either side isn't too far away. What about the mode, which is the most common? Oh, that's nice and easy to spot. That's 4, because there are 2 of those. So, in this case, all 3 of our values are similar, which means they all give a similar impression of the data. The mean, where we sum the numbers up and divide it by how many there are. The median, where we order them and find the middle. And then the mode, where we look and see what is the most common value. Now at this stage, a lot of people want to practice these 3 averages in order to get a good confidence skill. What I'm going to do now is talk to you about each of these 3 and find where they are good and where they are bad. Because it's not always true that you'll get a nice consistent picture like we did here. This is fantastic because in each case we get a similar value. And remember what we talked about before, some statistics are useless. So let's first off look at the mode, because that is the most straightforward of the group. And I want to look at when the mode is a bad idea. So have a think for a second about a set of data, a set of numbers, where looking at the most common value would not accurately describe the data. So, the most commonly occurring value would not accurately describe the data. Well, let's make up a set. Here's a classic case. Our data has 2 zeros in it. Now, what shall I put the rest of the data to be to make the mode 0 and to make it not an accurate reflection? Well, if the mode is going to be 0, I can only put 1 of each of the other numbers, so that this is the most popular value. And if these are not an accurate reflection of the data, I need the other numbers to be quite big. So what do you notice about my data? Well, there's a lot of values between 70 and 120. But what's the mode of this set of data? The mode here is 0. Even though most of the data, and I could keep listing bits in the 80s and 90s to really make the point, the mode doesn't change. So here, the mode is a bad idea. Now, if these two pieces here had been 90 and 90, we'd have had 3 90s, and that's in the middle of the data range. So the mode then would have been a good idea. So the mode is going to struggle to tell you much when it's far away from the rest of your data. Let's have a look at median. And let's see what we find here. So, the median was the middle value when we placed them in order. And I want to create a situation where the median now is a bad idea. So what I'm looking for is the middle to be far away from most of the data. So I'm looking for a lot of data at either end away from the middle. So let's make the middle have the same value to make this nice and easy. So the median's going to be in here. How do I make this data not like the actual data? Well, I'm going to put some low scores here, 0 and 1. On the other end, then I'm going to put some really high scores. I'm actually going to add 3 more zeros there, and I'm going to add 3 large scores on the end. So look at our data now. Our median is 20. But we've got actually a lot of people with almost nothing and a lot of people with a huge number. So the scores of 20 in this game, let's say, are quite uncommon. So here the median is a bad idea. Okay. Let's look at the mean now, and let's try and make the mean a bad idea. Well, the mean is where you add the values up and divide it by the number of values. So, I'm going to add a set of numbers up and divide it by how many I've got. Well, if the numbers are quite similar, the mean will come out in the middle. So, can we create a set of data where the mean is not like a lot of the numbers? In fact, I'm going to make that 990. No, 991. Let's have a look at why. So the mean is where I'm going to add those numbers together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus that makes 1000. Divide that by how many numbers I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my mean is 100. Now with a mean of 100, I look at my data and go, none of this is around 100. So whilst the mean can be good, and is the one that people always talk about when they say average, actually, if your values are really extreme, or you have a really big value, or perhaps the other way around, you have one really small value, it throws it off. So, whilst mean, median and mode are good, you have to be careful sometimes when to use them. In the next part, we'll look at some special cases for where you have to be careful with the mean, median and mode, and then we'll look at doing some calculations with them, and then we'll look at how you use them backwards.